Isekai was yesterday. We are in the era of bully revenge stories. Today another one with a game system giving the main character a second chance. I present to you Reality Quests. Not to be mistaken with last week's Real World Mobile or last year's Questism. The other two are nice reads and I recommend them to you, so let's see if Reality Quest will join the ranks of my recommendations. Dowan Ha, a dedicated gamer, finds himself trapped in a nightmarish cycle of bullying within the virtual realm. Tormented by his peers, Dowan is coerced into tirelessly grinding to acquire coveted in-game items for his tormentors. The relentless cruelty reaches a crescendo when one of his bullies demands an impossibly rare item, threatening to expose him in front of the most beautiful girl in school if he fails. In a desperate bid to meet his demand, Dowan plunges into a relentless week-long gaming marathon until exhaustion claims his life. Yet, in a shocking twist of fate, the moment he draws his last breath, Dowan inexplicably respawns in his classroom, exactly 1 week before his impending demise. This unexplicable second chance offers Dowan a unique opportunity to break free from his tormentors and change the course of his tragic fate. Wow, that was a long and informative summary. I think now you have a pretty good picture of what this story is about. Talking about picture, let me talk about this cover art. We can only assume that the boy here is Dowan and the girl behind him is most likely the mentioned most beautiful girl in school. Also, it seems like IRL Quest is another name for Reality Quest. Seeing that the protagonist is going for a punch, the fighting aspect is practically guaranteed. Like many webtoons, the art style is very pretty, but it is indeed an art style I have not seen that much before. The uniqueness is already a definite plus in my book. We already know that the game-loving loser is relatable, so let us get right into my first impression of the first 5 episodes. The first chapter had a pretty basic start, but there were some humorous moments that push it above the average start. Seeing students call their school sacred is hilarious to me, especially the way it was portrayed. It felt more like an old man talking than an actual student. Seeing our protagonist for the first time in the story, I can just say, holy, what a gaming setup to have while in school. We weren't even allowed to pull our phones out, and here he sits with more phones than I ever had in my entire life. Only sad part is that he isn't gaming for himself, but that he is indeed forced to grind for other people. Like in most stories, the high school boy main character has a crush on a pretty girl in the same school. This is becoming a bit too predictable at this point. Dowan truly is a person I can feel sorry for. He is doing what the bullies wants, he is farming items and experience, and yet he is still getting beat up for a singular mistake. After losing a valuable item, one of the, I think, head bullies orders the protagonist to grind for an even rarer weapon. Here we experience the first fake out as the main character seems to be distressed, but he actually is in fact max level in that game, so it should be easy to get the rare weapon, right? Well, that would be the case if the game didn't receive one of the weirdest updates ever in my opinion. Now all his hopes were destroyed and he has to go on a week-long grind already mentioned in the summary. Seeing the items in the video game, I don't recognize if they are references to anything. They just seem a bit stupid to me. I don't think they will be relevant for the actual story, so let's just skip over them. Dying of too much gaming. Not even talking about him being forced to do it, it's just sad. Good thing this is a fantasy story where the summary said he would be revived. Our protagonist can't catch a break, however, even the system is shitting on him already. If I was in his position, I would be much more freaked out of suddenly being respawned back in school. Seeing as the class assigned by the system is already incredibly high level and his stats are basically maxed out, I guess this is just an overpowered revenge story against your bullies. For you this is the next sentence, but for me it's the next day. And I think I got baited. I will let you guys find out yourselves what I mean with that, but now let's get to some of the parts of the system in the story. Receiving a key as a reward is interesting. I wonder what it will unlock for our main character. Well, the protagonist might be thinking about this very calmly. After clearing the first quest, he wants to follow his idea of asking the person he thinks he got the system from, but things are never that easy. These Korean high schools are filled to the brim with bullies. I can't say that I had similar experience in my school life and I'm pretty happy for that. Apparently the keys are physical and can be seen and touched by everyone. I wonder if this will lead to other people also gain access to the system or if it will never be relevant. It's always good to see when a main character isn't completely stupid, but seeing as Dowan is experiencing pain in that area, I can understand why he has to change his plans. Another positive thing for this story is that the artist is capable of drawing creepy and very expressive faces. This for sure will come in handy to strengthen the emotions from future chapters. Holy hell. This escalated very quickly. It almost seems like the system is leading the protagonist into more and more dangerous situations. Anyways, we got Cruz and want to take over a part of Seoul, the capital of Korea. This feels more and more familiar actually. I think my assumption that the system gives him quests in a way he cannot reject is actually correct. The main character wants to do smart things, but the system pushes him right back into the things he would normally never do. Finally, at the end of the third episode, the protagonist started using the system. Keys to unlock more power feel very thematic. Interested to see how this actually continues to develop. Short backstory time. The main character Ori was bullied when he was a young child, but maybe that is partly the reason why he is so good at games, and thus also how he got access to the system and also like a big chance to change his life. Now with the first ability unlocked, it is time to kick some ass. Well, no, actually Dowan doesn't have enough mana to use his new skill. Wait a second, you still have a bronze key. Bro, use the key! The key's the key! Seeing characters who are supposedly younger than 80 but still look 30 plus and like gangsters never gets boring. I could have gone without the trope of tripping over yourself when you are in a hurry, but things still worked out. Gold keys apparently unlock an ability and copper keys unlock some stats. Let's see what the silver key does after his quests. Oh my god. He was only at 12 from 1000 HP at the end of the battle. That man was so close to death. Unless 0 HP doesn't mean death but just falling unconscious. The ability he got was pretty impressive and seems to be powerful as well, but we have to wait for more battles to actually see how useful it will be. Finally, we got a silver key and can find out what the last of the 3 keys unlocks for our protagonist, but first let's see if he can survive this horrible scenario he found himself in. Let me end this section with a vague statement. Silver keys are able to unlock passive skills, and the boy is now turning into a man. Overall, I have to say, Reality Quest had a pretty good start. The main character is okay, but I like the premise. What I really want are answers to what the system is, and a real reason for the main character to continue doing all of these things. Yes, not receiving a punishment from the system is a decent reason, however an actual motive far surpasses that reason. And I think Dowan needs a motive. I also wonder if the protagonist has any friends. This mainly is connected to my thought if he will become a lone wolf or if he is going to build his own crew to take over that part of Seoul. Seeing how engaged I am already, I have to further increase the ranking I have in mind. While Real World Mobile was entertaining, Reality Quest for sure got a few things that push it above the other one. So in rankings from F to SSS, I have to give today's series an A-. That's 2 points higher than Real World Mobile. As always, I put a link to the webtoon in the description for you to check it out. However, that is all from me for today. Here you can find last week's review. See you over there or in the next video. Until then, take care. Pyro, out. Bye!